Are you ready for a new topic? I hope you are, because today we will go through a topic called Interventions and Strategies for Challenging Behavior by Sabrina. Let's go! There are four purposes of challenging behavior, which can be remembered by SEAT. So the first one, S, is sensory. So sensory is when the person show challenging behavior, for example, like sensory seeking behavior or sensory avoiding behavior that does not fit the context or environment. So for instance, like a child suddenly started screaming because the surrounding is too loud for them, or a child that kept on peeling his or her skin because it doesn't like the texture of the mat or texture of an item that touched their skin. For escape, for instance, a child show a challenging behavior to escape a task or something that aversive. For instance, like if we ask the child to do a work on the table, the child would tend to run around or kick the chair to escape from the task. So for attention, of course, A, um, when a child purposely do something that we don't like or something that just make someone angry just to get attention. So for instance, like purposely hit the person or purposely um, vomit just to show attention, to gain attention from others. And the last one is tangible. So tangible is when a person do something to get something that they desire. For instance, um like break a chair or something, or just to show. Oh, sorry. Let me continue. So, for instance, purposely break a chair so that he or she knows that when he showed this kind of behavior, the other person will like, okay, 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 take this. So that's why he or she do this one to get the thing that he or she wanted. Before you dig deeper into the behavior, there are a few things that you need to take note. So the first one is that you need to rule out pain or illness. This is because medical part is the bottom part of the pyramid. So unless we can rule out that one, there's nothing that you do or nothing that you can teach that the person can learn. So regardless whatever it is, settle the medication part first. The second one is that to establish predictability or consistency. So it's the same with us also. When things change all the time, for example, like when we are during COVID situation, we get very anxious, correct? So it's the same with them as well. So if we want to change their behavior, we need to establish consistency, especially when the kids are rigid, like if they are autism. So we need to have that fixed daily routine. If we really want to teach the child about changes, we can gradually expose them or teach them about changes, but start with small first. And then the change should be clearly communicated to them. For instance, like, is it written or is it verbal, or do you need to use visual cards? So that part need to be clear to them. The third thing is that you need to create calm atmosphere, because sometimes behavior actually happens because of the atmosphere. Maybe it's too packed, too crowded, or too maybe the wall. I mean the painting on the wall is too bright for them. So we try to create as calm as possible the atmosphere. Then we try to study the behavior from there. And then the fourth thing is that you need to attend positive behavior more compared to negative behavior, because we tend to focus on scolding the negative behavior rather than rewarding or praising the positive behavior. So if we focus more on the positive behavior, they will uh, become more alert, and then, oh, okay, now they are actually, the people like the positive behavior, maybe I should do that more. So we need to shift their perspective. And then the fifth one is that we need to use do statements. So instead of don't stand on the table or don't throw things, we should say like, please sit down, pick up the item. So change it to more positive sentences. And then the last one is keeping perspective. So keeping perspective means that we need to be prepared to respond whenever challenging behavior occurs, so that expectations for appropriate behavior can be established. So for instance, um, oh, you need to remember that you need to respond in a proper way, in a way that it won't reinforce the negative behavior but reinforce positive behavior. Because if we constantly be prepared to respond in accurate way, the child will more likely to show appropriate behavior. I mean, in higher probability. Before a challenging behavior happens, how do we prevent it from happening? So there are a few tips that we can try out to prevent challenging behavior. So the first one is to minimize aversive events. So aversive events are events that can trigger distress or make the person angry or anxious, etc. So for instance, like if you want to bring the child to a shopping mall, and then you know that the child cannot stand with crowded places, crowded, loud, noisy places. So what you can do is that bring the child during non-peak hours to the mall. So for instance, like maybe you doing during working days, avoid lunch hour, things like that. So the second thing that you can do is to share control. So share control is, in a way, is that you provide choices for the child, but you need to clarify that the person need to understand about the concept of choices. Because sometimes if the person doesn't understand the concept of choices, giving choices actually make them more stressed. Okay? So what you can do is that, or you can ask them like what they want for breakfast or dinner, or what kind of activity that they want to do next. So the choices can be presented maybe in visual card or written, depending on the person comprehension level. So the third thing is that to provide environment that can uh, enhance or create successful engagement. So if you want to do an activity with the child, we need to aim in a way that activity the child will experience more success rather than failure. So maybe provide like a clear start to finish route for them, and then the demand also we need to adjust based on the child itself. The fourth thing you can do is to increase communication effectiveness. So most of the child, not all, like autism or someone with uh, any form of special needs, especially that's related to communication. When they are nonverbal, they tend to communicate to us through body language or something like through behavior itself. So what we can do is that we teach them alternate way of communication. It doesn't have to be verbal. It can be in apps inside apps inside iPad or packs or any form like visual card or written, depending on the person. As long as what the person want can be communicated well to the other person. Right. The fifth thing that you can do is to clarify expectation. So you need to be clear what is the start and what is the finish. And then what you need to remember is that the expectation should be the same with all the person that assist the child. So it should not be different because we want the child to understand in the end this is the goal. You need to achieve this goal. So when you clarify expectations, less behavior will happen. And then the sixth part is to support self-regulation. So if the child tends to get angry fast or get anxious, so what can do? Maybe teach them breathing or provide them like a calming space. So in a way they can self-regulate and less possibility of behavior happening. And then the last one is to match demand to abilities. So regardless of demand or activities, you need to understand how much the person can do because in the end, what we want is for them to be successful. So if you want to increase the demand, you need to increase support as well. So try to balance across these options like the demand, the support, the abilities. So how do we support positive behavior? How do we ensure that the child initiate positive behavior and continuously do this positive behavior? So there are three ways. The first one is to meet their sensory needs. So in terms of behavior, you'll tend to see either sensory seeking or sensory avoiding behavior. So what you can do in a way that we can support the positive behavior is to provide sensory-based activities day to day. So, for example, if the child have problem with vestibular, maybe we can merge in their daily routine, like things like jumping on the bed, or maybe try to sit on the gym ball, or any like chair. We can also climb chair, so we can try with balancing. So everyday things, everyday the activities can be merged with these sensory based activities. The second thing that you can do is you can use contingency method. So contingency method is, excuse me. So contingency method is the involvement of rewards or anything tangible usually. So the concept is that you delay or you withhold desired item until activity is finished or when the president showed good behavior. So how do we apply contingency method is through two ways, which are positive reinforcement and token economy. So positive reinforcement, technically you withhold until the person showed good behavior or finish, then we give the desired item immediately. For token economy, it's a bit different because it has more rules. So you need to be clear how the child can get the token, and then for the child to get the desired item, how many tokens does he or she needed, and then is there any like adding or subtracting token depending on the child's performance. So all this you need to be for you to do this method, you need to clarify all the rules to the child. And then the last one is to alternate preferred and non-preferred activities. So this is a good way because a child will most likely to comply because they will want to go to that preferred activity. So they know that if they want to go to the preferred activity, they need to go through the non-preferred one as well. So usually with alternating preferred and non-preferred activities, there will be issue with transition. So how do we make it uh, visible to them about the transition? We can use timers or we can use visual schedules. So maybe on a mounting board or maybe a small board, we can put like the schedule of the day and then where is the finish one. So every time he or she finish or transit, they will pull out the card and they put at finish. As simple as that. Here comes the technical part, which is the functional behavior assessment (FBA). So in total, there are 5 steps process. The first one is the team building and goal setting. So you need to understand that FBA is not a one-man work, but it's a group work. So you need to clarify who are the person that will be involved. So it could be close family members or teachers or neighbors. So you know who are the person that will involve and who are the person that know your child. Excuse me. And then across all team members, you need to clarify, make it clear what are the goals, what are we targeting, because we don't want to address too many behavior at one time. So we need to clarify what is the behavior that we want to focus on, and then we try to work on it together. The second one is functional assessment of behavior. This one is more technical. So usually we discuss among family members, among the team members, what are the behavior that are observed, and then is it the same across all members, and then what are the possible purposes or contexts. But usually behavior in a way it will be related to the place or the situation. So we try to figure out if there's any consistency among the team members about this information. So the third part is to develop the hypothesis. So based on the information that we gain from discussion, we try to create the possible hypothesis of behavior. So in a way, later on, we can try out this hypothesis, which one is the one that valid. And then the fourth part is to develop comprehensive support plan. So this one is more technical, I would say, because you need to accurately collect the data of behavior and events, and then to know the antecedent and consequence. Or in other way, we need to know what comes before the behavior and after the behavior, and then try to link all this together to see if we have a bigger picture. And then the last part is the implementation and outcome monitoring of plan. So regardless of plan that we already created, we need to check if everyone is comfortable with the plan. Maybe it takes too much work or it's hard to observe, to things like that. So all this we need to discuss because in the end we need the everyone need to be comfortable with the plan for the team members to carry out the plan. So if there's any issue with implementation, then we can bring it up so we can discuss how to solve it. And then if there's anything that like stuck or something, uh, maybe we can discuss if the plan need to be refined so we can create better plan for the child himself or herself. Thank you for keeping your loyalty to hear my presentation until the end. I hope that my presentation will give you enough information about the topic. But if you need more, you can always search into the Occupational Therapy for Children book, which is written by K. Smith O'Brien. All right, again, thank you and see you next time.